From hero to villain and side characters, Outlander has a hell of a cast. Actor Sam Heughan has received praise for his performance as Jamie Fraser. The series' other characters have all fallen short in comparison to one other character: a boss who makes his followers fearful, a sociopath who is also a sadist, a villain who is better than the hero. Yes, you got that right, it is none other than Blackjack Randall. Outlander has received praise for its humorous writing. All of its characters have an incredible range of personalities. Jack Randall has been appreciated throughout the show. Tobias Menzies played Edmure Tully in Game of Thrones' third season.
We're not going to win this war if he's the only one winning any battles. There's glory enough to go around.
It's not about glory. Your instructions were to wait for him to come to you.
I seized an opportunity.
What value was the mill?
Which is where we first met him. He gained widespread attention when he was cast in a dual role in Star's Outlander as both the devoted Frank Randall and the evil Blackjack Randall. The contrast between two characters portrayed by the same actor has never been so great, and we have to agree that Tobias Menzies did a fantastic job. So, who was Jack Randall?
He's here? Where?
You should go. If he sees you, he will cut your throat.
That would be a lethal mistake.
Blackjack Randall was one hell of a character in Outlander. The impression that he belonged to the noble class is created by his carefully crafted public persona. He is the second son of a British Army general who has achieved great success. There are still things that set him apart from others, besides the fact that he is a nobleman. He conceals his darker motivations and actions. He was described by his creator as a sadistic bisexual pervert. Anyone who crosses his path is terrified as he attempts to hurt them in some way. He was stern and used force to ensure he got what he wanted from the program. Because of his torturous techniques, he was feared and despised throughout the Outlander universe. In the first 3 seasons, Jack stalked Claire Fraser and Jamie, terrorizing them. The character's brutality knew no bounds, as he raped and beat people to keep them under control.
I'm afraid that Duke of Sandringham likes to talk, especially when he drinks. Certain mutual acquaintances passed his words along to me, and well, we spoke.
He is one of history's sickest and bloodiest villains. Jack raped and dragged the locals, inflicting pain on them. To our shock, he raped and tortured our hero Jamie Fraser in a horrifying manner, not even sparing him. Not only did he hurt the Highlander physically, but he also tormented him mentally until Jamie even hated being touched by his wife. While some might think the only reason Jamie was subjected to torture was because Blackjack was a vicious psychopath, others have claimed that the perverse redcoat loved Jamie in secret and yearned to completely dominate him. The executive producer of Outlander previously addressed the situation and explained why Blackjack made Jamie go through this terrifying ordeal. But of course, when there's a hero, there can't be a villain. He was killed by Jamie Fraser in the Battle of Culloden. We all may fear these types of characters, yet they are the ones that show diversity in them. Even though he was cruel to the hero and other people, he always felt sorry for his brother. Menzies' character was played so realistically, people thought he was inspired by a real-life person. So the question is, how much of the character Blackjack is rooted in reality, and how much has been born from the writer's imagination? Was he real, or was he a mythical figure?
Frank? What the hell are you doing? You're not Frank.
No, madam, I'm not.
There's no definite answer to this question. Some say that his character is somewhat similar to Captain Caroline Frederick Scott, who was military personnel of the 17th century British Army. So what makes them similar? Well, you have to keep watching to find out. If we try to compare the two, we do see some similarities. In the series, Blackjack goes on raping others and inflicting pain on them. Similarly, Captain Caroline was also known for abusing his prisoners. Scott is said to have a visceral dislike of Highlanders, and even had a personal desire to kill Bonnie Prince Charlie. It proves that the idea must have some grounds. It is also rumored that Blackjack is an ancestor of Frank Randall. Frank Randall and Blackjack have some indirect ties. It wasn't until Claire was in the past and got to know Mary Hawkins that she realized this. She thought Mary Hawkins and Blackjack Randall should get married. It was discovered that Mary was dating Alex, Jack's brother, and was the biological father of her child. What? Sadly, Alex passed away from illness and left Mary penniless. He requested that his brother Jonathan wed Mary in his wake.
In sickness or in health, forsaking all others, be faithful unto her as long as you both shall live.
I will.
At Culloden, Claire saw that Mary marrying Blackjack Randall would be advantageous for her. Randall was destined to pass away regardless. Mary would inherit his pension and name after his death. A chance for survival existed for her, but it meant that everyone had to acknowledge her child was actually Jonathan's and not Alex's. At the time, it was a price worth paying. Rather than being Frank Randall's grandfather, Blackjack Randall is his great however many times uncle. The time travel series is always tough to understand, no matter how many episodes you watch. However, there are equal assumptions about Blackjack's character not being based on reality when compared to other characters in the series. Thank goodness he isn't. He would have been one twisted man if he had existed back then. Outlander wouldn't have been a success if he hadn't been there, regardless of how his character was.
As you acknowledge, Jack Randall, I give you the hour of your death. Jonathan.
The show was initially at its most thrilling whenever Blackjack Randall or Frank was on the screen. Is there a need to point out how well done Claire's questioning scene from the garrison commander is? Or perhaps when Frank learns that Claire's child isn't his? How about every exchange that everybody's beloved Jamie and Claire had with Blackjack Randall at Wentworth? Although every moment Menzies is in happens to be some of the most compelling drama Outlander has done so far. You might not have appreciated the imagery. I don't blame you if you didn't. There's plenty of eye candy to look at instead. So how does Randall advance the plot of the story? What is Randall's role in Outlander as the adversary, and does he improve the overall tale?
You beast.
You could do better than that.
You sadistic piece of
Regardless of the terrible acts he commits, is it simple to claim that Jamie Fraser is our main character based on the impact Randall has had on him? Absolutely. Yet, when you change the focus to Claire Fraser as Randall's adversary and the conflict they face together, the appeal of Blackjack Randall grows exponentially. Because it isn't only about lust or getting back at someone for embarrassing them during a public beating. As it would be with Jamie and Randall, the stakes become much higher. The conflict between Claire and Blackjack is more about dominance and control. It's something we can all identify. But let's delve a little deeper and see why this is the case. First of all, he attacks Claire's biggest weakness. Claire is a strong, independent woman who wants to save everyone. However, she's also sexually driven. Randall, on the other hand, is a much bigger force. He uses Claire's strong points against her by seducing her, as well as changing her confidence and independence into insecurity and desperation. He's indeed a complex character. Tobias Menzies did a fantastic job portraying the part. He must have found it challenging to portray this character, though. The season 1 finale of Outlander was difficult to watch. Sam Heughan and Tobias Menzies, though, found it just as difficult to film. Heughan described how difficult the shoot was, and that's totally understandable, isn't it? Everybody was in love with the actors, especially with Blackjack Randall. You should definitely check him out if you haven't already.